Hey y'all, it's Mandy, the Sleep Nana, and we're going to talk about my weight loss journey that I've been on for what feels like pretty much my entire adult life, but we're just going to be discussing from 2020 till present day. So, for those of you that don't know and you are new to the channel, I had VSG surgery, vertical gastric sleeve weight loss surgery in June of 2020. I did not reach my goal after that surgery, and so to help me get to my goal and to help me overcome some other issues with my health, including type 2 diabetes, excuse me, menopause cravings, menopause weight gains, I landed on GLP-1. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in. And so today, in addition to the numbers with Mounjaro, we're going to talk about food noise and how I feel that VSG, and I hate for it to sound like this because it's like I'm putting blame on something other than myself, but that's not the way that I don't intend it to sound the way that it's going to sound. But I feel that VSG, in a way, gave me food noise. Now, hear me out. I never even heard the term food noise until I started researching VSG surgery. A lot of people never heard that term until they came across GLP-1s. I had already heard the term due to me doing some extensive research, which I tend to do with all things. I'm like one of those inquiring minds, I guess. But I research the hell out of everything, especially if it's something that I'm going to approach, like with the surgery or a diet or all the things. And so when I was doing my research for VSG and I started hearing this term in a lot of the videos that I was watching, I typed that into the search bar on YouTube to kind of get a better understanding of exactly what that was. And I came to the conclusion that food noise was not an issue for me. And at that time, I still stand by that thought. It wasn't. Before VSG, I never really thought about food a lot. The extent of my thinking about food. Hold on, my daughter's calling. Okay, so my thoughts of food were to the extent of, okay, I need to make my grocery order for this week. Let me sit down and think about this. And how I would always do it, and I still to this day, I kind of write out a menu for all the days that I'm making the trip to the grocery store for it. For me, it's always been 2 weeks. I just don't like to go in between for big trips. Now, I will make small trips to a closer local grocery store for my produce between my big trips. But I would sit down and make my menu for all the days, then see what I had on hand and make my grocery list, and then organize that grocery list category in the order which I walk the grocery store. I've always done that. One of my mom's sisters taught me that. I watched her do that years and years ago, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I had 4 kids, so we were a family of 6, and so I had to have some kind of system. And I just, even though I only have one of my kids living at home still, they all still show up to eat. So I still, just kind of go by that system. So that was the extent of my thoughts with food, which was a good thing and a bad thing. It was good in the sense that my thoughts and my life did not revolve around food or what am I going to eat, today, later, or what am I going to eat tomorrow, or anything like that. Having that system in place kind of helped me to not have to think about food as much in that way. My downfall, as with a lot of people, especially when your kids are small, was snacking. Just grabbing anything, like if I was hungry and I was busy with the kids, or I was doing laundry, helping with homework, and I was hungry, I would just grab whatever was the easiest and most convenient, whether it was healthy or not. So that's why I say it was a good thing, and then at times it was a bad thing because I wasn't really thinking about anything as far as nutritional value, calories. I was conscious of the calories, and I would think about it because when I was younger, if you're not new to my channel, you've probably heard me mention that I was used to be into working out and weightlifting when I was younger, before I had kids. My stepdad got me into it, and he kind of like introduced me to a healthy eating lifestyle, whatever. And so I wasn't, totally unaware of nutritional value. I just wasn't, I just didn't care. And well, I won't even say that. I was aware of what I was eating, and I would think about it, but then I would just eat it anyway. So I guess in a sense that I really, maybe I didn't care enough. I don't know. But that was the extent of my thoughts around food. Then comes, and I'll leave out all the in-betweens about my ups and downs with the struggles of my weight and after each kid and all that. That's for just a separate video within itself. But during my research for gastric sleeve, I, of course, came across, all these different phases. Some people call them phases, some people call them stages of your diet, prior to, which is your pre-op diet, and for the first, I want to say 4 weeks post-op, there's stages. I did write those down because I didn't want to get it wrong in case somebody found this through researching VSG. There's 4 stages post-op. You'll have your clear liquids, then your full liquids, your pureed / soft foods, and then your stabilization period. So that's including the stabilization and the soft foods. It's actually longer than 4 weeks. I'll pop it on the screen. If I don't, there's a lot of videos on here that will clear that up for you, and I probably actually have some on my channel. But I started looking at recipes, snack ideas, because you'll have to have snack ideas for the house if you're in a pinch on time or something like that, or you're just feeling nauseous, and maybe you can't have what you originally planned, which is a lot like GLP-1. And I've said it multiple times, I really do think that this GLP-1 journey is very comparable to the early days of VSG post-op. But you'll have those 4 stages, and you 100%, beyond the shadow of a doubt, need to be prepared. But I let it take over my thoughts. Instead of just like how I talked about making my menu, making my grocery list, and then just forgetting about it, I was doing all the things, but I wasn't forgetting about it. I was constantly thinking, do I have this on hand in case I get hungry? Do I have enough of this on hand? Do I have that on hand? And y'all, let me tell you, eating healthy is more expensive than not eating healthy. And back in the day, a lot of my menu options were what they were, not for health reasons, but because of budget reasons. Like I said, we had 4 kids, and let me tell you, kids can eat, and if you ain't never fed a teenager, let alone 4 of them, bless your heart, because you have to be like on it with your meal prepping, and well, not meal prepping necessarily, but I spent a lot at the grocery store. I always have. Well, I won't say always, but there came a point in time where the budget was larger. It got bigger as our finances increased and this and that. And I would always have snacks on hand for my kids and all of their friends, because our house was always the house where everybody's kids landed. And to me, I loved that, because I knew, don't take this the wrong way, like, I knew what my kids were up to because they were right there under my nose. And so it made me feel better. And I mean, obviously people trusted me or their kids wouldn't have been at my house too. And it was fun. It was fun having them around. I enjoy it still to this day. I can almost, like, when I think about it, I think about some of the silly stuff that they do, and they would always keep me laughing. But anyway, let's jump back on track. But I always felt like I was constantly in a state of thinking about, do I have the things that I need? Because it was almost like I was in this state of mind. If I didn't have everything I needed on hand, it was like I thought I was going to, I'm trying to choose my words wisely, because I know now some words that you use on here like flag your video, but it was like I was going to go meet Jesus, if you know what I mean, be unalive. But also, I had this fear and not knowing what to expect after weight loss surgery. So I guess fear of the unknown. And that played a role too, of me wanting to make sure I had all the things on hand that everybody said I needed, which you don't. Look, I threw away so many boxes of sugar-free Jell-O and sugar-free pudding. I probably could have paid a mortgage payment with just Jell-O, or 1 or 2 mortgage payments. Like, it was ridiculous. You don't need to keep all of that on hand. And I don't know if I thought like the store was just going to suddenly stop selling them or what. But now, I will say, I had this in 2020, and towards, not when I had it in June, but not long after, we started seeing shortages on more than just the toilet paper. And so I did stock up some because of that, but a lot of it was just unnecessary. I mean, it wasn't. It was almost like I was thinking nobody could go to the store and pick up a box of sugar-free Jell-O for me. Like, I needed to have 4 months of sugar-free Jell-O on hand, or I was going to, meet my maker, which was that fear of the unknown coming into play. So when I went to events, which was not a lot, especially the end of 2020, like the farther we got into 2020, we all know about 2020. I would be sure to take my own foods with me, because you can't just always assume, or you can't assume that there'll always be something there for you to eat, because you would be surprised at the things, the dishes, the side dishes, the main dishes, and of course the desserts. That's kind of like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised at the dishes that people just add sugar to for no good reason, just because I didn't want anybody to feel like they had to make special dishes for me. So I would just take my own, and it was really just a little small container, and I didn't care if people looked at me weird and this and that, because I was always really open and wasn't shy about the fact that I had the surgery. And so I didn't care. I was like, but then after a while, it just got easier for me to just take a protein shake. It was just easier. It was quicker. There was not much, no thought that had to go into it. And I would just fix my drink and out the door I went. But later on, as more time passed and I got into that maintenance stage, I don't like that word VSG, and I've heard a few more other people say it too. When the hunger hits, sis, it hits, and it hits hard. It's like you feel like you have not ate in days. It's the wildest thing. Hunger hits different after VSG for me and a lot of other people. It's like I have to eat right then, or I like feel, excuse my language, but I just feel like shit and quick. So I would have to think about that. Did I get a protein bar? Did I do this? And there was times that I would I'd have this little cooler that would keep things cool, and then I would put an ice pack in there. If it was summertime, I would have to even do that and put the protein bar in there so that it wouldn't melt. Or I would throw some like a turkey stick and some cheese in there. I just always was in this constant state of, do I have what I need on hand in case I get hungry and there's nothing around me that I can have to eat. And I never thought about food like that before VSG. So with that being said, what started out as, what could be looked at as a good thing, the farther I got out from surgery and I was able to eat more of the things, well, basically all of the things. The only thing that affects me now, being 4 years post-op, I can eat sugar. I mean, I can't sit down and, eat a lot of it without getting sick. But I cannot drink sugary drinks. I love sweet tea. It does not love me back. I've tried it several times, and it's just a no-go for me. And I just had to come to grips with the fact that I'm just dismissing it. So what I do is I buy zero sugar tea, the Milo's brand from this Walmart. I'm sure other places have it, but that's where I get it. And then I buy the Torani sugar-free syrups, and I put that in there, and it hits the spot when I want something like that, when I want tea. But other than that, I can eat all of the things. And so that changed, but me constantly thinking about food and having this and that on hand, or whatever, or certain things on hand, did not change. Those thoughts about food were still there, but with no restriction as far as what I could think about eating, other than I have been having some Cheetos a lot more as of recent, but I'm not gaining any weight, so I'm like, is it, no foul, no harm? Or should I be thinking ahead, kind of like with this food noise thing, and kind of reeling it in a little? Because what if I can't always get my hands on this GLP-1? What if my insurance says, okay, we're not going to pay for this anymore for you, like they did the Saxenda, and say, it's the metformin, it's back to the metformin, or it's nothing. And y'all, with the way that does me, I'm sorry, it will be nothing. And so then I will, still be in that state of mind of, oh, well, I'll just have a handful of Cheetos, it'll be fine. That will turn into, I'll be able to have 2 or 3 handfuls of Cheetos, and probably, I know me, just mindlessly, I'll bet it's fine. I didn't gain weight before, but no, I will gain the weight, and I really need to make better choices, even if it's just a few bites, kind of remove the non-nutritional snacks. Not always, because I do believe, in moderation over anything else, because I feel like if you're not looking at the long run and looking at it as the big picture, as what's going to be sustainable for you in the end, for me, and I feel like a lot of people, just based off of, people in my personal life, I'll say that. Oh, my arm's getting tired. If it's not sustainable for me in the long run, I'm setting myself up for gaining the weight back, going off the deep end, not binging, because as a VSG, I would get sick before I would, could do that. Even 4 years out, I do still have restriction as far as the amount of food that I can eat. It's just there's no restriction in what I can eat. So it's a slippery slope for me. And so I'm trying to, the GLP-1 has helped me with the food noise, whether that noise be good. You know how you got, these people say you got the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. I don't feel like there's anything on either shoulder. And so that's, the GLP-1 has really helped me with that. But at the same time, when and if this is not available, I want to be able to make better choices and keep my mindset in check and have, maybe less Cheetos on hand and more fruit or something. Not to say that I can never have the Cheetos, because again, sustainability is where it's at for me. And I've learned this the hard way through many ups and downs with the scale and emotions and all the things, like most of you probably have. So most of you probably know what I'm saying. But if you found this video because you are researching VSG, kind of keep that in mind. And there's, if you're going through the proper chains and a reputable, facility and doctor and surgeon for your surgery, then you will have a therapist, a nutritionist, and all those things at your disposal. Use them. Use those tools. Now, for me, because it was 2020, things got real quick. Everything changed, as we know. And so I didn't feel safe, I guess you could say, going back to making the trip to my doctor's office, my surgeon's office, and being around people. So I just kind of winged it. Google was my research place. YouTube was my spot. But now that, we're past that, use every tool that is available to you to the fullest, because, you're paying for it. But in hindsight, I really should have got a better grip on not just my choices, but the amount of time that I allowed my thoughts to be on food, whether that be good or bad, because like I said, there's going to be a time when you can eat and have all the things, but you're still going to be in that habit of constantly thinking about food, but you're going to be thinking about the wrong foods. Well, that was the case for me anyway. Okay, so now let's jump into the numbers for VSG and Mounjaro. And some of this is probably going to be edited out because I feel like I, again, talked too long. So, My highest weight ever, and I say this with confidence, not just, ever recorded, how some people do. I know that it was my highest weight because I'm a daily weigher, and I have been for quite some time. My highest weight is 259.2. I don't recall the exact date, but it was just before VSG in 2020. The day of surgery, I weighed in on the hospital scale at 250 pounds on the dot. The day that I started a GLP-1, I weighed in at 199.9, which is what led me to go straight to my doctor's office before I jumped back out of what is called Wonderland in, the weight loss community, not just VSG. So that first GLP was Saxenda, and then some stuff happened, and I ended up on Mounjaro. The day I started Mounjaro, I weighed in at 177. Last week, I weighed in at 151.8. This week, I weighed in at 149.6. I got under my initial goal. Since day one, I've always said that my goal weight was 150-ish. And so, this means, as far as my numbers go with losses, my weight loss this week is 2.2 pounds. Since the day of surgery, I'm down 100.4 pounds. Since starting a GLP-1, I'm down 50.3 pounds. Since starting Mounjaro, I'm down 27.4 pounds. And my total weight loss from my high weight is 109.6 pounds. That sounds so wild to say. And I did have a non-scale victory today, which I will include in this clip. If I don't include it and label it non-scale victory, go to my channel specifically and click on the shorts tab, and it'll be there. It still feels almost like, is this real type of thing, because I've been trying to get to this point for such a long time. It's like it's almost like I'm dreaming or something. It's like it hasn't hit me yet that I actually am under my original goal. Now, from the beginning, like I said 150-ish. And the reason that I always said that was because, this is me repeating myself, but in case you're new, I said that because I was like, I'll get to that and then kind of reevaluate how I'm feeling and how I feel about how I'm looking, and then see if I want to lose more or possibly put a little on. I want to lose a little more. So if you made it this far in the video, give me a thumbs up to let me know that you did. And if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button and stick around. We do all the things here. I do travel, some cooking, grocery hauls. Gonna start doing more shopping hauls again as I kind of settle into my weight loss, kind of not dropping as fast, and all those things. RVing, just all the things. I do all the things. So if you haven't done so, I really appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe, and I hope everybody's doing well. And now you will see my added clip as to what I ate this week. I hope everybody's doing well, and I will see you guys next week with another weight loss update. And if you are looking for my Elena Tan 2 update, that will be posted tomorrow. Thanks guys for watching. Hope everybody's well. Bye.